sure that you're seeing my screen?
We are.
Okay.
We are.
Measuring email in the time of Gmail dominance. We're going to be talking a lot about a number of things here, but for those of you who have an email list, you don't have an email list anymore. You have a Gmail list. We're going to show you why. We're going to show you how to measure it. We're going to show you a lot of reasons why once you get search engine traffic to the page, and we've seen so many crazy things within the media about social lately. I saw a great presentation the other morning. Woke up first thing in the morning. I saw this great presentation about how you can't depend on social anymore and that email is back to being king. I was quite surprised and I enjoyed it. Let's look deeper into all of this. Here's what we're going to be discussing. Well, so we've crafted, me and my marketing team have crafted a custom presentation just for SEO people, because I know you're a bit more technical than the average person that makes millions of dollars with an email list. You're very different people, and believe me, I know you well. I'm a very technical person myself. We'll be covering top questions email marketers are asking. These are my clients. These are my 10 million a year to 10 million a month e-com clients. So we're not talking about small people. And I know that you don't shoot at rabbits either. You shoot at elephants just like I do. So we're talking about the big boys. Why Gmail matters most. Going from spam to the primary tab in Gmail is like SEO. A $40 million case launch study. Website content and email content sharing goals. As with SEO, you can't fix what you don't measure. Believe me, I'm in Stephen King's group on Facebook. I pay close attention to how you SEO people measure what you do. I am just as particular as how I measure email delivery. And we're not looking at one inbox. We're looking at 2,000. But this isn't about me. It's about you. So if you don't know me, hi, I'm Chris Lang. There's a lot of people out there talking about email and deliverability, and I'm an actual postmaster. I actually have software that sends millions of emails. You're not going to see people like me too often. I don't want to blow my own horn. I don't want to pat myself on the back too much, but I want you to know it's a unique experience to talk to postmasters. There's a very few of us, and we're the ones that actually get the email to the inbox. And it's very different. We own an SMTP platform. We own Clean 13, what we feel is the best data in the list scrubbing deep analysis of email lists there is. And I also own, well, again, we're not going to talk about me. I've managed more than 130 email lists, each making 7, 8, 9, 10 figures. The big boys. I don't play with the small birds, and I'm not expecting that you do either, and you want to hear from the top. I manage more than 27.5 million active subscribers a month. My claim to fame up until now has been that I can recover a list from Gmail spam faster than anyone else. My new claim to fame is I prefer to measure that happening with software. So here's the number one question that you're going to get from your clients as SEO experts. And it's the number one question I get from mine. Why are we not getting the clicks and opens that we expected? That would be my email side of things. Your side of things would be something that happens when you convert from a top ranking in Google. The next big question we're all asked by our clients is, why are we not generating expected revenue from our list? Why am I not making the money? Well, that's marketing. We'll cover that in a second too. And the next question you start to ask yourselves is, are we actually doing our jobs? Or am I actually getting my email clients to the inbox? Are you actually getting people from Google search into the site on a page where it converts, a funnel, an article, whatever you're doing? We're going to ask ourselves, are the leads weak? And then the next question that my clients are going to come to me asking is it delivery? Is it deliverability? Or again, are the leads weak? Well, here's the story. Gmail is like SEO. First place, that's the primary tab in Gmail. Second place, well, that's the promotions tab. You get a set of steak knives. Third place, you are in the spam folder, and your list has basically fired you. Gmail has basically fired you as the purveyor of your goods and services. First place is a primary tab. Second place, you get a set of steak knives. Third place, you're in spam. You're fired. It's kind of a lot like SEO. I mean, you're either on the first page of Google search. You're in the second page. How many people look at that? You're on the third page. You might as well be in Gmail spam. So again, we're going to dig into the promotions tab quite a bit in just a bit. It basically cuts your conversion by 50%. And I'm going to tell you why right now. In 2012, when Google Plus was at its highest, when we were all on Google Plus, and boy, I was enjoying a ton of traffic to my site, I really thought Gmail would have been at its height. It had 425 million active users. 2015, 900 million. 2016, 1 billion. 2018, 1.2 billion. On the last earnings call before COVID, Larry Page said that they had 1.5 billion active users. Now, active users are unique. It means that you've actually logged into that Google account sometime within, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 months. I don't know when they decide an account is dead anymore. That's a deep subject. We'll cover it another time. I particularly feel for my data in Clean 13, in Send 13, for my 40 active clients in my analytics platform, that 70% of English-speaking users have an active Google account, not a Gmail account, a Google account. You all understand what that is. I don't have to explain the difference like I was on some stage with internet marketers. You know what a Google account, is how powerful it is. 70% of English speakers have an active Gmail account. And I've seen these numbers build up over the last 7 years. So let's kind of diverge a little bit on that. I'm going to ad-lib for a second. I'm supposed to stick to my slides, but I'm not that kind of guy. So 7 years ago, most of my clients with lists of about 250,000 emails, if you can imagine how much money they make, 250,000 emails, they were coming in at about 40% Gmail. My last two clients, and we're going to talk last year, into 2019, 80 and 88% Gmail, 150,000 to 200,000 lists. You don't have an email list anymore. You have a Gmail list. So there we are. I'm kind of heated. That's how I look at things. It's been quite a last 7 years change in email. Now, if you don't have to look far on Facebook in some kind of marketing group. People will say quickly if you ask anything about delivery or deliverability, and we'll define those two in a minute. You have to set up SPF. You have to set up DKIM. The latest new magic bullet is DMARC. They are not magic bullets. They are simply tools. We're going to cover why SPF and DKIM matter. We're going to cover, and we're going to talk about DMARC a lot too. I'm probably going to diverge a little bit. I love DMARC. I think it's the coolest tool that reveals exactly what's going on in a client's email. And if you're not using DMARC, and you don't want to, and you don't want to understand that, you should just turn off the presentation now. But let's get going. There's going to be some terms to know. ESP. Now, this gets applied to Gmail, Microsoft, AOL, Yahoo, etc. They are not ESPs. ESP is where you send your clients, and your clients. This is why you're here. We're about you and your clients. Your client's email. ESP is a service. It's a platform that sends email for you. Believe me, you need it. Don't listen to anybody that says you need to build your own email server. I'll tell them they're full of crap. And I've done it before. It's awful. Don't do it. Don't listen to these people that are going to install something on your. No, it's awful. ESP. You need ESP. It's like Infusionsoft, Ontaport, ActiveCampaign, MailChimp. Oddly, the largest sender of email, only second to SendGrid. I happen to love Mirapost quite a bit. We're going to talk about an MVP. This is a mailbox provider. This is Gmail, Yahoo, AOL, Microsoft. When we talk about IP address, this is the IP address on some ESP that sends email, especially to Gmail, your biggest worry, from an IP address. So if I mention the word IP address, we're talking about the IP address that your email goes out on to the MVP through your ESP. Let's define a couple more terms. The difference between delivery and deliverability. Delivery is when my email server talks to Gmail and transfers email. And due to the reputation of my domain, Send13.com, and my 2,000 IP addresses, then the email is either accepted or perhaps, because I run a crappy network, which we obviously do not, then the email might go to the spam folder. This is delivery, machine to machine. Yeah, it kind of sounds like Terminator, but yeah, it's two machines talking to each other over, the extent of what we use the internet. Now, deliverability. Deliverability is what happens after my machines get past their machines. Now, this is the big difference between email from, say, 3-4 years ago to today. And we're going to show you how to measure it, so just hang tight. So deliverability is what happens when they look at you and your from address domain, your client's from address domain, when you send email. It sounds crazy, don't it? That your client's from address domain is responsible for roughly 70% of inbox delivery. It's a little crazy, but we'll continue on and show you some examples. Once deliverability kicks in at Gmail, you're looking at possibly going to the spam folder for God knows what reason. It's crazy that legitimate, great emails go to the spam folder. You may go to the promotions tab. You may go to the primary tab, which is, as I said, first place, mostly based on from address domain, 70% of weight. And you have direct control over delivery. So your ESP has to do their job to get considered for the inbox. Then your client, their email list has to do their job to be considered for the possible primary tab. And it's not that easy. So now we've talked about the leads are weak, what delivery is, what deliverability is, what goes on with email, how things have changed. you need to figure out if it's delivery or deliverability. And it's real easy. A single DNS text entry. Bill Hartz has been talking about this a lot. By the way, Bill, I love you, man. You've helped me a lot. Thanks for letting me be here and being on stage last November. But postmaster.google.com. Just follow the help files. If you know how to use DNS for your clients, it's not going to be hard. But let's talk about what you're going to see, because it's highly misunderstood. So once you get into Google Postmaster Tools, there's 4 major places you're going to want to look at. And you have to enable a deep date range, or else you just get spurious data that you can't possibly understand. Okay, so your domain reputation. They will tell you what Google thinks of your domain reputation. This is one of my actual clients. We drug them out of the spam folder. And as you can see, in just from May to August, in about 4.5 months, we put them back in the inbox. This is what it looks like when you're going up. This is what it looks like when you can actually spy on the IP address of your ESP. This is an amazing tool. Google revealing whether or not your ESP, your email platform, is actually doing their job. This tool has been my secret weapon for almost 4 years. It still is. I just do some other things with it that, again, we won't go into. Next, when you get a spam complaint, when someone clicks the spam button on you, because either A, they hate your marketing, they hate your pitch, or you're actually sending spam. Spam is in the eye of the beholder these days. Now, AOL, Yahoo, Microsoft, a lot of other ISPs and mailbox providers, etc., they actually will send you a machine-readable piece of data back to your ESP, and it shows up as a spam complaint. Gmail hasn't done that for years, maybe almost a decade, and they're not going to do it. They're not going to reveal the email address of someone who marked you as spam. This is the whole Google privacy thing. Good God, they've been dragged in front of the Senate I don't know how many times. But they will show you when these spam complaints occurred. Now, as you can see on the screenshot, user reported spam, and this is real client data. This is not anything mocked up. This is a $2-3 million business. You can see last year, it pulled a 0.8% spam button click rate. That's highly concerning because they only allow 0.1%. One spam button click in 1,000 has been the industry standard since AOL in 1999. You know, when you found all those discs in your mailbox and hopefully sealed them down the street. Now, they also show authentication. And they show whether or not DKIM, SPF, and DMARC succeeded. I've intentionally used an actual client that started off without my help, and you can see the disaster that it is. This stuff just needs to work. DKIM, SPF, DMARC, these are not magic bullets like the latest crew of deliverability experts that you see all over Facebook would have you believe. This just allows machine learning to truly show you and understand what's going on. This is what it looks like when it's good. That was what it looks like when it's bad. A little before or after. So let's talk about that promotions tab and why I can tell you and explain big data. One of my long-term clients is Dean Graciosi's team. We did a long-term case study in January of 2018, and part of the deal was that I am allowed to talk about that. Let's get into how it actually works. So this is an extremely professional list, an extremely professional team of copywriters. I don't work for the guy on the left. I do work for the guy on the right. But their partnership, let me get a lot of data. We did a lot of testing before launch. Mastermind.com, launch April 2019. We found that despite all the articles that you read out there, there's many, many articles that say the promotions tab is no different than the inbox. I will call that complete crap right now on the spot. We found that 8 to 10% opens from Gmail occurred when going to the promotions tab. We found that going to the primary tab gave us 23 to 25% gross opens. This is gross opens. We're not even segmenting Gmail. This was a super professional list. It was my software that measured the actual inbox placement with a super engaged list getting ready to launch and did $42 million later that spring. The promotions tab is death. Just play with it a little bit. If you have a G Suite account, it doesn't come with promotions enabled. It actually comes with, at times, it'll change. You never believe what Google shows you, as you SEO people know. Free Gmail comes with 3 tabs enabled: social, primary, promotions. G Suite, it might fool you a bit because, well, we want to use the full suite, the whole thing, the business domain, all that. FreeGmail.com is 70 to 90% of your clients in your own list's volume. I want to keep pushing that forward. There is, don't worry about the others, just worry about Gmail. You're worried about 2% of your list not getting their emails. Who cares? You're more interested in 90% of your list going to the primary tab. I can solve that. It's not easy. You can't game it like you used to be able to do 2-3 years ago. It's very different, and it takes a very organized strategy. We found this to be true. We turned around the primary tab issue January 2018, $42 million launch in 10 days. And this is why Gmail promotions tab sucks the life out of your list. Good Lord, there's more ads, there's more problems. They'll pluck emails out of the promotions tab on the Gmail phone app. Pay attention to the Gmail phone app. 60% of Gmail email read traffic. If you open a promotions tab, I mean, you're getting flat out spam in there. You're flat out ads. I mean, if you look closely enough, you'll agree with me. I don't want to upset Gmail. They're nice to me, but you need to take a look at what's going on in the Gmail app on your phone. If you're just looking at Gmail as working how you use it, you're probably completely misjudging the entire thing. Here's how Gmail really works. Gmail is people. Think of email delivery at Gmail as crowdsourcing. Do they open your emails? Do they actually spend any time reading the emails? Do they scroll down? Do they click links? We don't know, and we can't measure it. No one can measure it. The only people that know is Gmail. I mean, are they deleting your emails on first sight? Are they open and then quickly deleted because, oh, I remember this guy. He just begs me for money and is always sending offers. Delete. How long do they leave the email open? Do they just flick to the bottom of the screen? Because, well, I don't have time to read all that crap. I mean, you're SEO guys, right? You've been through all this, the old bounce rate from Google Analytics. Do I actually read the page? Is it interesting to me? Am I actually going to read a 4-foot-long page of text? No, I want what I want when I get there, and I want to get out. And that's how people are today. I mean, do they click the spam button on you? Do they mark you as not spam? Do they love you so much they go in a spam folder and click you as not spam? Do they move you from the promotions tab to the primary because they love you? And DMARC, does it protect your subscribers from opening emails pretending to be you? Let's dig into DMARC a little bit. This is some stuff that I've really never talked about online. I've never talked about publicly. This comes out of the Gmail Mad Scientist Lab. And this is the big reveal that I offered you. I promised it at the beginning. Here it is. So simply, DMARC is so misunderstood. I don't think a lot more people are coming to understand DMARC. But basically, again, it's two things. It's spammer repellent and the ability to truly measure what's going on in all the third-party platforms that you use. Basically, to simply put, if you don't pass DKIM, you can set a privacy policy with DMARC and say, if it ain't me, send it to spam. Or if it ain't me, reject it completely. Or you can do what most people do these days that have heard of DMARC, which is say, don't do anything, which basically says you don't really care about your site, your email, or your list. DMARC is going to be completely and highly important 2022. It's your own private spam filter. You get to help Gmail not let you be spoofed. A client had an email list, two clients actually, had an email list stolen by third-party Filipino outsourcers that had too much access. One kind of went under, they went to heck. That email list was sold to everyone that would cough up any money. The second one, we immediately detected in my software within 7 days that this was going on, and we shut down a spoofer pretending to be my client. Spammer repellent and your own private spam filter. Is DMARC a delivery magic bullet? It's just not. This complete crap of, oh, do this, oh, do that, put SPF up, put DKIM up, oh, you get DMARC, soon it's going to be BIMI. These are not magic bullets. And I've been saying this for years. Maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, they were magic bullets, but they're not anymore. It simply gives you the ability to measure your data with high-end software like I have. And, of course, Google Analytics, and, of course, Google Postmasters. Those are free. Please go use those. You'll decide by using those whether or not you need to call Chris Lang. So you need a DMARC record, but you have to have someone that understands DMARC to guide you through that. Google G Suite will actually mislead you the most to put up a DMARC crappy record. Their record is so bad. It's DNS. Okay, it's DNS. It's misunderstood. It's wrong. Everybody thinks they're fine just because they put a V equals DMARC at set P equals done. That's if you're looking at that and your DMARC, you need to call me. So why aren't more marketers using DMARC? God, I don't know. I think they just don't understand it. Valley Mail. Great place. I like those guys. I like DMARC. Valley Mail in January of last year published that out of all the sites on the internet that are sending email based on their domain, only 1.25 million of them have a DMARC record. Out of those, like 180,000 actually had a policy that was properly formed and secure. Most people are not using DMARC because it ain't cheap to use a nice big DMARC compiler like DMARCian. you're gonna start at about $500 a month for a email volume per month of 1 million. So if you're an actual professional e-com list, you could do the math and see how expensive that would be. I can't believe these people that make all this money don't secure things. That is going to change. And if I can help it, I will. Okay, so let's kind of recap tools that you need today. You need to find out if it's delivery or deliverability is your problem. If, as SEO guys, as marketers, as funnel builders, if your clients are complaining, we're not making any money, I just showed you all the tools that you need to prove to them that you're doing your job correctly, because it's always the email that fails. The Gmail promotions tab. Measurement. You need to measure delivery. You need to use some kind of decent software, at least Google Postmasters, to prove that the problem may be marketing, not your SEO. Once you understand Google Postmasters firmly, and it takes a little while to figure it out, once you fully understand that, it becomes a completely different tool. And I'll tell you, every site, every list, every client of yours is different. You're going to have to, of course, you fully understand their business. You need to understand what happens after a visitor gets to the site, opts in or does not. And you need to have a DMARC compiler in software and spammer repellent. Again, I'm really leading you into the future. All you SEO agencies, you need to have, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're an SEO agency. I don't care if you're on e-com or one of my internet marketing, $20, $40 million a year talking heads. You need to have an email deliverability expert on your site. There's only 4 or 5 of us that were real Postmasters who know what we're doing, but they're a dime a dozen. Go get one. And here's the thing, too, is email algorithms, just like Google search, they change every day. You know what worked last month may not work tomorrow. Look at the Google slap that came in end of November. I filled a page 2, and I've been number 1 for 5, 6 years. It just happens. And as you know, you need to measure that with software. Have proof. You have to measure email delivery. Black Friday week, what a disaster this year. Not as bad as prior years, but still a disaster. The Christmas season, man, Gmail really turned up the heat, and my inbox was filled with, 1,500 spam emails a day. And I'm talking my business email, not free Gmail. And new Gmail algos are maturing in 2021. You know things change. You have to measure said changes to know when clients start to tumble and when to take action. Now, I'm going to give you a little pitch now. I'm Chris Lang. I have an end-to-end software solution that can measure everything. You can't buy it. I'm not going to pitch you here. We have to turn out to be a fit to work together, and it ain't cheap. But remember, if your email is going to the promotions tab, 20 grand goes to 40 grand, 100,000 goes to 200,000, 1 million goes to 2 million. Get back in that inbox and on the top of everyone's list when they think Google search page 1. Okay, so here's the pitch. Better call Chris Lang. Come look at my testimonials. Come look at my credentials. If you want to call, you can go through the funnel and book a call with me. And I'm not even going to send you 1 million emails over the course of next year trying to reclose you. In fact, I don't want to. I would rather maintain the reputation I've always had when I was in SEO, when I was Dig and kicking the crap out of Google top rankings with Dig.com in 2007. I'm not going to spam the crap out of you. If you want to talk to me and you want to see what I really have, and you can't get it anywhere else without talking to me, no salesman will call. That's a little joke. Better call ChrisLang.com. Hope we talk soon. Hi, Joy. I think we're back over to you now.
Thank you so much, Chris, for that presentation. That was really useful information. I know I definitely learned a lot. If y'all have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. I see one from Bill here, and he's asking, how many emails per day or per month do we need to send to see data in Google Postmasters?
That's a really great question. And Bill, thanks for asking that. You need about 2,000. Let me open my webcam so you guys can actually see me, because I sound like a crazy person without, let's be honest, I am a crazy person. Hold on one second, Michelle. Yeah, Bill, question. So this is the problem with Google Postmasters is you set it up, it opens, and there's zero data. And then you look the next day and there's no data. You have to send, we believe this, we're never sure, just like we can never believe, I won't mention names, but Google, about 2,000 a day. You have to send about 2,000 emails a day with your domain properly authenticated with DKIM via your ESP, and you'll start to see data. You'll see domain data, and you'll see IP data. And that's, to me, the IP data is the most interesting part.
Okay, thanks. It looks like no more questions. Again, Chris, this was really helpful. Thank you for, we've got one more. So from Randy, he says, most of the addresses in the email lists I manage are company addresses, not Gmail. Do most company email servers also rely on DKIM?
Well, number one, Randy, great question. Randy, everything relies on DKIM. If you don't sign DKIM and your email servers don't tell people who they are, and I'm talking third-party services, I mean, Gmail, Yahoo, AOL, they all have to sign DKIM. It's been a demanding protocol for 10 years. Now, you might just get past with just SPF, but signing DKIM with your domain, with your from address domain, it's really easy to set up. It's just DNS, and I want to kind of branch out here too. Bill Horcher has posted a number of times about email authentication. And there were a lot of comments from people that said, I don't run my own email server. I don't care about it. It doesn't work like that. You need to sign DKIM. DKIM is either signed by your third party that sends email for you, or you sign it yourself. And when you do sign it yourself, it takes about 2 minutes to put it into DNS, depends on your ESP. Then Google looks at you as an entity. I really want to push entity. You all know what entities are. I mean, I've got a gardenia plant over there. I love this thing, but it's just a gardenia plant. Now, you're Julie. I'm Chris Lang. We are entities. Our domain names are entities too. You need to look at your domain name and your email reputation as an entity. This algo is extremely deep, and it's been developed since 2010 by Stanford PhDs and Google Fellows. Thank God I can talk about technical things, Julie, because if I was on a marketer interview, their eyes would have blurred when I said IP address in the first 5 minutes. But you need to sign via DKIM. DKIM unlocks software like mine and Google Postmasters to tell you what's going on with your email. I mean, it's really a beautiful tool. It's not as heavy in the algo and revealing as to how the algo works as it used to be, but still, it pretty much shows you where you screw up. And as we all know, it's not what I do right. It's not doing things wrong. When you don't do things wrong, you do nothing what's right. Sign and DKIM is what's right.
Okay, thank you for that very thorough explanation.
Also, I want to say one more thing about DKIM.
Yeah.
DKIM comes from your provider, your hosting provider, your ESP. It comes from G Suite. It comes from, and also, if you're, when you talk about B2B lists, so I've got a number of B2B lists that I manage. When they're pure B2B and they're non-free email address domains, when you actually use my software to find out who's behind it, you're going to find out that you're facing Microsoft protected email, now called Microsoft 365 quite often, and you're going to find out you're facing G Suite, which has a steeper algo and is much different in the way the users manage their email. They're real serious about it. It's not freegmail.com. So B2B will mislead you just by looking at, they're not free email domains. Look what's behind those domains when you use software to look up the MX record. You'll quickly find that they're mostly G Suite and they're highly Microsoft 365, what I call Microsoft protected email.
Okay. Well, it looks like Chris is typing. She might have a question there.
What you don't want to do is you do not want to think just because I use some third party that I don't need to manage DNS, SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. No, that's in your DNS zone on your domain. And that's how your domain is judged. These third parties don't do everything for you. You have to give up the idea of, I use another service to send email. Well, that's fine. You'll get to the inbox. That's great. But if you really want to measure what's going on, just like we do, whether or not we're on page 1, page 2, or page 3, you need to set up some decent authentication, and that allows high-end software to tell you a lot more about where your email's going. I had one client. I can't tell you too much about him. I had one client. He had a list smaller than 3,000. However, his consulting fee was somewhere around 20 grand. That little list of 2 grand, 3,000 people. I mean, that thing made him 5 figures over and over and over. Whatever your list is, and especially as we're seeing the world lose its mind and kick everybody off social platforms. And God forbid you're in the wrong Facebook group or you're gone too, or you say something on Twitter, goodbye. Social is still what it has always been. The lead generator and the email is your back end because it's portable. We can measure it. And so is your domain reputation, because you can move if you're pissed off with this provider over here, you don't like the UI, you don't like whatever. You want to move to another piece of software. Guess what? Your list and your domain reputation go with you. That's what's really changed in Gmail and the amount of Gmail chat and how things have changed in the last 2 or 3 years.
So we have one more question from Bill. He's asking, explain to us what sign using DKIM and send email to a DMARC receiver means and how we would do that.
Okay, so it's going to take me a minute, but thanks for asking, Bill. So basically, you get a report from Google, Microsoft, Yahoo, AOL, and the smaller ISPs and smaller mailbox providers. Now, you would think you would get a report that you could actually read and understand. No, it's written in XML. It's machine-readable code only. And even me, with my skills, it's a waste of time for me to try to not look at DMARC reports. Machine-readable code comes as a gzip file, and your machines need to unzip it, compile it, and then turn it into something humans can understand. And it's really easy to understand once you do that. Valley Mail's very good at this. DMARCing's one of my favorites. My own personal DMARC compiler, my best tool ever. My clients never need to look at it. I just let them know if something's going on. But DMARC is not something you can understand without the machines. It's like trying to compile Google results through ARAF or something without using their software. I mean, what am I going to do? Google myself and my clients like 19, So a DMARC compiler compiles XML machine readable code, and it tells you what is going on with your email. Now, if you have, when we start out, we set a DMARC compiler DNS record to none, which means don't do anything. As I said, it's basically you don't care about your site. Then we move it to quarantine, which means if I don't pass DKIM, you send me to spam. This is where the DMARC compiler comes in, is it tells you when you're not passing DKIM and when you're probably going to spam. Sometimes you have to back the privacy policy off. You need someone to guide you through DKIM to get it started. And there aren't many people that understand it. If I'm a fit for you and you like me, great. Let's do something with it. If not, I wouldn't even mess with DMARC and just sign DKIM and forget about it. DMARC is so cool. It is my favorite tool. I mean, I spent $160,000 building my email analytics platform this year because I didn't like any others. I spend so much money buying data, using software, this and that. I love DMARC more than anything. I can basically spy on what's going on with your email, who's doing their job right, are they signing DKIM? And I don't want to name the big names, but DMARC is not easily managed. You need someone to guide you through it. But
Great.
the compiler is what tells you what the machines are saying about you, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. Well, thank you for explaining that. It looks like those are all the questions that we have here. If y'all need to reach out to Chris, better call chrislang.com. And thank you for coming to today's presentation.
Certainly, Julie, thank you for having me. Thank you for Bart helping me get set up and understanding what the call is going to be like. And thank you, Bill Hartzer, for endorsing me. I truly value speaking to you all.